Let me tell you a quick story. At the end, it has a point to make, and that's actually the very point that I am trying to make. 1983, when my family decided to migrate here, it was my three sisters, my mom, someone else from our community that had decided to tag along, and of course I, making our party a party of six. Well, we made it through Mexico without no problems and no real... I mean, sure, back then, the corruption and the bribery was still there, but it wasn't as bad as it is nowadays. Well, when we got to the station at TJ, we got swarmed by this whole crowd of people. Hey, you want to get to the US? We could have you there by tomorrow by noontime. You could be there already making money, this and that, and just selling you that American dream, guaranteed. Well, my mom, she had to decide on someone to get us across the border. So she did. She ended up choosing this one guy. And the thing was, though, that this guy, though, was very hesitant on was separating us. And well, because supposedly, the adults, they had to go through the desert for 6 hours. In the meantime, I, however, being 3 years old, I drove through a checkpoint. And of course, being dressed up in American clothes is, well, no one suspects the kid, right? Well, of course, my mom and the other guy and my sisters, they got here safely and they got delivered to the destination, to my brother-in-law and my sister. I, however, was a whole different matter. They were hesitating because they paid them and then they said, oh, okay, good. So then, we'll bring them around in an hour. And that was it. But of course, my brother-in-law, he was a dick. So he told them, no, you bring them right now. And the thing was, though, that he had 3 other brothers and they were the same way. So he called them because they lived in the same apartment complex, and well, they held these coyotes hostage. And well, the guy got on the phone and he started making calls, and then an hour or so later, they ended up bringing me around. But my point is that I think that they were looking to abduct me, at that time. And this was back in 1983 with just somebody that brought their kids voluntarily, And nowadays, though, they're down there promoting that, hey, if you bring your kids along, it'll make it a lot easier for you to cross, to the other side, into the US. It's all a ploy. It's all a ploy. That's just a way of them keeping their child trafficking alive. If this was happening back then, 1983, 83, that's like over 30 years ago, and they're still pulling the same thing today, things don't fall to pieces, they improve. Especially if it's something that makes money. It's improved up to that point where even our own government has gotten involved. The Trump administration, how many kids that they lost in the past? How many can they account for? They got lost in the system. They're taking kids from an indigenous garden, putting them in pots to decorate other cultures. And that's my point that I'm trying to make, is that the indigenous people are always the ones being targeted. We are their main target for some reason. Why? Because why? Because we lay claim to these lands. If they take our next generation, then that means that there's no more plants to grow here. They're out there somewhere scattered. Up here in the north with the First Nations, women abductions, women turning up missing all the time. Indigenous women, not white women. Why is that? Do you see what I mean? There's a whole pattern here. And we are the ones that are being used as pawns. But most people don't see that. Only a few of us see that. I'm just here to tell you that. I mean, bring it to your attention. Whether you believe me or not, that's up to you. It doesn't matter to me. I'm speaking my mind, and I'm bringing this conversation up now because it needs to be addressed. At least by somebody bigger. I don't care who it is. Take the issue and run with it. My point is though that we gotta wake up to this. Stop being victims to all of them. Stop letting our kids be the ones that are being taken from us. Our next generation is more important than us. And they know that. Because if they take that generation away, we cease to exist. And this land is up for anybody. And that's what they want. They don't want nobody laying claims to these lands. This northern hemisphere, it belongs to us. It belongs to our indigenous, Native American, whatever you decide to label yourself as. It belongs to us. It does not belong to any other culture. But hey, that's really up to you. I'm Az'un Papul Xuvan. Our past, our land, our bloodline, our future.